The pros closet is back? Yes and no. Kinda. And yes. Well, is this the new trend of the industry being whiplash from COVID? Oh man, talking about additional craziness to chaos. Let's review that after this. Welcome back to I Know a Guy Bicycles, hanging out with the guy. Hey, I'm Justin the Guy on As the Wheel Turns, So Do the Days of Our Rides. And we're talking about the latest news that came over the weekend. And that is the Pros Closet is being rebooted. Yeah, just like, you know what, Colorado Cyclists and Planet Cyclery, they went out this year as well. Flames of glory, unfortunately. And all of a sudden, they got purchased by Cambria Cycles. Well, the Pros Closet is being not necessarily reskinned. It is going through a whole different perspective. A company did buy the company name, the website, the data, and all that. Although the company has already been shut down. I mean, the actual brick and mortar portion of it. They had a huge facility in Louisville, which is right next to Boulder, where they originally started from 18 years ago. And now the auction was actually, I think last week or a week before, auctioned everything off. So the building's cleared out, it's gone, what have you. But two individuals are gonna be brought back on to run the Pros Closet. So it's a reboot under new ownership, and it's gonna be probably a slow crawl going from there. Well, once I go through the article, let's take a look at some, technical footage. So looking at the Pros Closet, it closed last month after 18 years of operation. It sold remaining of its assets, inventory, and everything else to basically pay off its bills, and essentially the investors pulled out in the fall. Well, last month, I'm going to say this incorrectly, is Ilshire Companies. It's a private investment firm, which, as we know, private investor firms over the years have bought several companies over and over and over, starting with Schwinn, in my experience, back in the 90s. Turned them and burned them sometimes, or actually built them up, like Pawn Holdings is building up its bike brands. But back to the Pros Closet. They purchased or acquired their digital assets. That basically the trademark, website, software, and customer database. It's a pretty good chunk if you want to, take over a company but not have the weight of brick and mortar building and everything else in between. Yeah, that's a pretty good purchase there. Not sure, it's not released how much it was purchased for, but what they have done is brought on two of the long-term employees of the Pros Closet. Justin England is one. He's been with the company for like 15 years. And PJ Gag, and he was the operational manager of the time. Well, chief operational officer. The new CEO, Elrush, which is the owner from Elrush Investment Company, is basically they're going to reboot it. They have several other brands that have done this, so they're not new to the scene, but they are new to the cycling realm that I noticed. But it looks like to me what they're going to be doing is they're going to be basically starting from scratch-ish. They're going to capitalize on the actual database and the name and the trademark and all that and push it forward, which is very smart. And kind of just a complete reboot. I mean, obviously, it left a huge hole in the market. Regardless of how you felt about them before, they kind of spun out of control through, I love this term, is the COVID retail whiplash. But anyway, when you're looking at the situation where they're actually building, boasting, and starting from scratch, yeah, they're going to bring in inventory. You can look at their website, which is up live and says, we're back. They're going to start purchasing inventory again, working with bike shops for trade-ins, as they did before, and overstocked inventory. Currently, they do not have a location now in Colorado, but they will be looking for one, hopefully within the short term, to basically rebuild and start over from scratch, in the sense of bringing on a few more former employees, they're hoping, and actually push it forward. It won't be the business as usual, as they stated. England said Pros Closet will minimize emphasis on sales of new inline products, including those covered by minimum advertisers pricing mapping programs. He said the Pros Closet will avoid in part so the company is not perceived of being in competition with retailers who participate in the trade-in program. So we're going to work a little bit more closely to your independent bike shops and bike brands. That can be Trek and Specialized as well, which I've alluded in other videos before, where Specialized can use this as a trade-in and do a refurbished thing like the Trek does with their Red Barn refurbished line, same kind of concept, and work with those particular companies, as well as the smaller companies in that stepping, which we've talked about before, where their used product, even though it's a few years old, was still in the price points of the new retail price line of market, between bikes and everything else in between. So they kind of undercut themselves, and there is a huge market that's been really neglected over the years, where it is a harder margin to work with, but it is perceived to be viable if done right. In other words, the $500 to $1,000 price point bikes. Yeah, it's more of a volume thing, and you got to get those prices down, and you got to make sure you are very timely. Exactly my business model as it sits. But when you're looking at the Pros Closet coming back and be reboot, hopefully they will learn from their mistakes and go forward with a better plan of action and be more sustainability. They borrowed a lot of money over the years, up to maybe 90 million, and that's where the investors pulled the plug in the fall, like done. And when you're looking at that much money being pushed over, the brand was built up. So what's this mean? Well, where this goes today is just like the regurgitation of the 90s of Schwinn being purchased just for the name, and then rebuilt up and sold and be rebuilt up again and then sold. Well, now they're under like the 4th or 5th acquisition under Pond Holdings. So that's one example for a big name, Schwinn. And currently you're looking at the Pros Closet as well as Colorado Cyclists, which they're basically the website and mailing list was purchased and being skinned over, basically white labeled over on top of Cambria Cycle. So the inventory that was a pretty easy swap for them. This one is going to be a little different. This is going to be more of a build up, even though they have the strong name recognition and all of that. And if people have not been really paying attention too closely to the cycling industry, they may not have known that they went out of business at all. So therefore, they're hoping to recapture, regain that momentum again fairly quickly by immediately start buying and open to buy particular used bikes and parts and accessories. So going from there, yeah, that's great. Best of luck to them. They left a big hole, and I've known people that have worked for them, and they've actually referred business towards my direction. So it's not something I really was negative about them at all. I knew what they were doing, and my business model fit right underneath them. Under the new business model, it's still not going to affect me or shops like me, because we can actually work together in conjunction to help and service the needs of the market, basically help the customers. Hopefully they actually revamp and kind of take the grain of salt of giving the warm hug. Yeah, basically not being so all about making a profit, but again, they've been purchased by an investment company, so there it is. They're going to be all about profit, which a lot of companies are, of course, as well as me. I mean, of course. But at the end of the day, we are definitely going to be trying to implore better procedures to bring on or bring in people into the cycling industry, as well as bringing people into the cycling world of experience. Biking is fun, and yes, and a lot of people have transitioned that fun into commuting, recreational riding, to more exercise for health benefits and all of that and above. Well, the cyclists are still there. The customers are still there. And they're just being a little more conscientious about their purchasing. And everything has been on sale for so long right now, it's pretty much made the whole market as it is. If it's not on sale, it's not going to sell. I mean, come on. I mean, people are so used to like, oh, it will go on sale because nobody's buying it right now. And the case is it is still pretty soft. And where is it going to go from here? Not quite sure. Nobody has that crystal ball, but there is some vote of confidence that people are still going to ride their bikes and still going to have a smile on their face and still going to have needs for either services or new parts or what have you. So if they actually fill those voids, as well as myself filling those voids and helping the market going forward, and people actually getting out to ride and be safe and happy and all those things, yeah, I think it's going to be a good thing. Interesting though, that was a pretty good quick switch. I mean, they turned on the lights just as fast as they turned them off, and it is not like a long time reboot. Basically, they're trying to get it going, and they're gonna get her done, right? I mean, they got a couple of the former employees that knew the inside and out of the company. They've been there for several years. They have a plan for redoing it and rebooting it. So definitely take a look at the article in Bicycle Retailer. I'll have a link below, as well as the Pros Closet's website, so you can get for additional information there. But that an interesting twist. It's a little bit different than the Pros Closet, where they just changed the skin on it, and it's not as fast build up. So don't see. I don't think you're going to be seeing very much product right off the bat, but it's going to be a good build up in the off season here, and then by springtime they should have a pretty decent up and running and going. What they're going to look at it for space, not sure. How big, I think they'd probably start off pretty small, then just kind of build up from there. How many employees they'll bring back, that'll be interesting to see. But lo and behold, I say this is good news. It's not a completely died and left to the wolves, and it didn't get brand purchased like Cambria did on the Planet Cyclery. I mean, good for them for branching out and seeing opportunity, but this actually is bringing back that bike shop where the bike shop was lost. So I think this is a great day, great news, and more power to them. And if they're watching this, hey, reach out, maybe we can collab. In any case, thanks for hanging out with me. If it's nice in your neck of the woods, go for a ride. And until next time, have a wonderful day from the garage.